Hi, my name is Tyrus McKnight. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Please download Anchor, the free podcast app, and go to Anchor FM to get started. Brother Dimitri, what's
Nothing
going on
much,
with
my
you?
brother. Taking it easy. How about yourself?
I can't complain too much. It's just gonna be you and I today.
Higher
Nitty
engagement.
had some prior
I dig.
engagements.
I dig. I dig.
Prior engagements. Yeah,
Right. Fair.
she had some work stuff I think she had to sort out. So we're gonna start a little bit earlier. So we're gonna start a little bit earlier today. But before we start into, what I really want to like dive into,
Oh
let's
man.
talk about this Kanye West
Yeah.
situation right quick,
Let's.
if you don't mind. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Kanye West, he posted a series of tweets in the last few
Yeah.
days. Got some people concerned. He was revealing some things, and he was talking about. But one thing that stood out to me was when he said he'd been trying to get a divorce from Kim for the longest now. Now, in my prior episodes on my other podcast, I told people, I said, Kanye West is going to end up divorcing Kim Kardashian. And people was asking me why. And I said, because she has a history
Okay.
of being
All right.
a hoe or a slut. Now, I wasn't quote unquote slut shaming,
Yeah.
which now is a thing because yeah, back in the day, you were ashamed of being a slut. Back in the day, you were ashamed of being fat, and out of shape. Just so many
Uh-huh.
things with this new culture. I
Uh-huh.
just can't get with, and I gotta stick to my principles. But I said people was gonna get ready. I said he was gonna get ready to divorce him. So what's your thoughts on that? What do you think set Kanye West off for him to
Well,
like
actually, I had a
start firing
conversation
off
about
tweets
this
like that?
earlier. Apparently, this is not maybe to this caliber. Is new. Like him having the outburst to this caliber is something new. But uh apparently, like in the past, like before he actually blew up, he kind of had like people that were in his inner circle, um, kind of have an idea that he was capable of these things. My wife was actually telling me that his ex girlfriend from way back had actually done a poem or something like that. Like it was on YouTube, and she had done a poem or something about that, kind of talked about him and kind of being unstable. So I don't think this is really a new thing for him. To be honest, his personality all along kind of,
Mm-hmm.
he kind of had a different vibe. He wasn't, the extra thuggish or macho or whatever you want to call it. So, his, I don't know, his personality seemed a little introvertish. And typically people who are introverts, and it's not all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you have people who are introverts, they might come off as a little unique or, different or strange, maybe even strange to people. So I think this is something that's kind of been brewing in him for a while. And like maybe, whatever it is, whatever type of person he was to begin with, coupled with maybe some of the traumatic things that he's going through in life, I think kind of caused this outburst. But I also think, I, I don't think people are giving the Kardashians enough credit, because it could also be that she maybe had an inkling about this from jump, but she saw the potential for what could be as far as finances and things like that. And maybe she decided, well, listen, maybe this guy, all he needs is a little bit of attention, little cleaning up, a little refining. So, you go ahead and get him a little bit of some professional help or whatnot. Maybe put him on some meds, keep him managed. We can keep this money flowing in. So, but so there's that part. But I think the man just he had some maybe some emotional needs that have to be met, and I think it's materializing itself. There's a lot of times people who come off as crazy, they're not really fully crazy. They just it's a bit something is a little unstable because some of the things that he said was actually true. But it's just the manner that it comes out. It's like, you could have said that better. You could have done that a little better. The delivery is not really on point.
Yeah. But the thing with Kanye is he didn't start acting like this until he really got with them Kardashians.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? So, because I mean, like all these outbursts and all this weird stuff, even the music started changing when he got with the Kardashians.
Mm-hmm.
The music was way better,
Mm-hmm.
and when he was with black women, I gotta be completely honest. The music was way better. Even when he was with Amber Rose, who has a history of herself being a slut and goes on slut walks and things like that. She'll admit to being a slut and things like that. But the music was better and just his whole demeanor was better. So I'm wondering what's going on to the point where it's like, oh, now I gotta say these things. Now I gotta get these things out. All of a sudden, he's bipolar, and no doubt you can have your first break when you're at an older age, and things could become more prevalent if they're not controlled. But I just
Okay,
don't
so
get
you
that. I
think
just don't get why he would do
you
that.
would say it's attributed more to the Kardashians?
I would say that yes, I would say that it is. I can't miss my words. More so his relationship with Kim, because remember he was yelling at Nick Cannon because he said he had a prior
Right.
relationship to Kim Kardashian, and he said he had to stop messing with Kim when he found out she had a sex tape and she lied about it. You know what I'm saying? So Kanye West was like, "You never slept with my wife. You never stop telling people you slept with my wife."
Yeah,
But
right.
more than most likely he did. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
I'm gonna say this too, man. Like, social media is a huge thing, and like within the last, we can see. Let me see. I'll say within the last maybe 10, like maybe 10 to 12 years, there's been a large boost in social media. The more access you get to a person's intimate life, like this social media thing is taking off to basically it's so many outlets, like you really can't avoid certain things. Whenever something is about to go down, people pull out cell phones. So everything gets caught now. But I think since we have more intimate access to people's lives, we see more of these things. Not to say it didn't happen before, because truth be told, in the Hollywood circle, as people get older, you start to hear more stories. Like for instance, when Quincy Jones is older now. Quincy Jones started airing out stuff that people had no idea about, but people in the Hollywood circle knew about it. All these little things that can kind of mess up a person's career, but they kept it to themselves. But now, that entertainers and celebrities aren't able to keep these things as private as they would like, because social media, once it's out, and it's off to the races, So I think these things may have been happening before on some scale, but because social media, there's been a boom with it, you can't hide any of that stuff anymore. But I think, there's been kind of a gradual process that pushed it to where it is. Like I said, it may not have been to the scale of what it is now, but, Kanye is a different person. Typically when people are highly artistic like he is, they have a tendency to have some strange behaviors, because when you're that good at something, normally you're lacking somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he never really was all the way right, but he just, they were able to manage it, mask it. He's getting older, so that's just one side of it.
Hmm. But I want this to be a letter. I want this to be a lesson to the fellas. And I think we talked about this previously on one of our last shows when we were talking about does a woman's sexual history matter?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Eventually, Eventually, it's gonna start getting to you when your woman's old past and her old whole behavior and her reputation for being a hoe.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, that's gonna get to you.
So
Eventually,
you
it
think that's
will.
a part of what his thing is too? That he's been dealing with that subconsciously
Yeah, I mean,
or
I,
internally? I won't say
well,
subconsciously.
I
Internally,
think he
he's been
has
kind
been
of dealing with that. You think that's a part of it?
internally. Yeah, internally, I think what he thought was that the him upgrading her status would be able to kind of clean up her reputation, her past behavior, her past reputation. But the thing about reputation is once it's with you,
Yeah,
it's there. You know what I'm saying? Once you once you
that's
got your
true.
name out there like that, it's there. Like a
Right.
killer, once you kill somebody, hey,
Yeah.
you're known as a killer. Once you know what I'm saying? Once you got that type of reputation, it sticks to you for the rest of your life. The best thing that you could do is the best thing you could do is continue
Hmm.
to strive to be better and strive to become a better person. However, your
True.
reputation is your
Now let me
reputation.
ask you one other thing. Now his mother also passed too, and sometimes
What's
people
that?
have things that kind of compound on top of each other.
Yeah,
And if you
yeah.
remember, after that particular incident happened,
Well,
God rest her soul. After that particular instance happened, you didn't really hear much from him. He had to take that time away. You didn't really see much of him, and then you definitely did
right.
start to hear different things that he was, that was being said and being done, and that was the first thing that people attributed all of that to was him losing his mother, and there was a lot of conversation about that during that time, and I don't
Mhm.
think Kim Kardashian and her like maybe her wiles, that she has on men, like that wasn't brought up with something that could have influenced that. A lot of people attributed that to that traumatic experience of him losing his mother, which was like one of the most important people to him. He mentioned it in songs and, you know, so a lot of people might argue to say, well, maybe it's
Well,
more of that and him having, some emotional issues as a result of that rather than it being something that's, being kind of spearheaded by, his wife. So,
let me say this.
uh-huh.
Kanye West is a grown ass man. And I'm not trying to say I lack empathy for his mother dying, but eventually
Mhm.
everybody parent has to die.
Well,
We've been using that excuse for Kanye for a long time. That's been his get out of crazy free
mhm.
card for a long time. Eventually we gotta look at the person and say, hey man, you gotta make some adjustments.
Right.
You're a
Well, as
grown
a
ass man. At that point. I can see you. I can kind of see as a kid you feeling that type of way because it's a sense of abandonment, and you don't really and it's kind of like you don't really know where to go from there. You don't really have anybody else to guide you because I don't know what his relationship was with his
mhm.
father or if his father was really around like that. But as a man, eventually you have to suck that shit
Now
up
you
and
see
roll
now
with it,
a
man.
person that deals with like maybe like a psychologist might beg to differ with you because trauma
Hmm.
trauma affects people differently. You know,
Well, you,
and
but my background is
right,
mental health. I'm a
right.
mental health therapist, clinical.
So okay. So with
Right,
that being said,
right.
does that mean that as an adult you're not entitled to maybe not have full control of the way that you feel, or as a result of the things that happen in your life?
Well, yeah. I mean, like the thing is this: you have to have, as an adult, you have to have full control of things in your life. You know the word. And one of my professors used to always say this: the
Mm-hmm.
word responsibility. Right? Everybody could be responsible. Be responsible. What is responsibility? The ability
Mm-hmm.
to respond to a situation. You have that ability to
But do you?
respond to a situation. And yeah, you do. I mean, the thing is this, but what Kanye lacks is his initiative to
Mm-hmm.
respond to that situation. he need it. I mean, like his mother dying. I mean, how many times is he going? I mean, how many times are we
Right.
going to use that as an excuse for him? I mean, like Kanye West himself has never came out and said, "Listen, the reason why I'm acting like this is because I lost my mother and things like that." We, as the public,
Mm-hmm.
has put this excuse on him, as if to say that black men in society cannot function with their mothers, which is very dangerous to say in the first
Mm-hmm.
place. You know what I'm saying? That's very dangerous
Mm-hmm.
to even put out there. But to say that black men, like somebody like Kanye West, can't function without his mother, without having a feminine influence on his life, then
Well,
that's
mm-hmm.
kind of whatever. Cause
Well, well, see,
uh,
you okay? You as a man, like you're a strong black male, and I know you mentioned to me before that. Well, we'll just say this: like you're a strong black male, and the way that you approach things
mhm,
are from a strong perspective. Now, just like there's for every one of you, there's maybe 4 or 5 more people who really don't know how they haven't been shown a path on how to manage themselves. Like for all we know, Kanye West maybe never fully mourned, or properly dealt with the death of his mother, which is where a person like you will come into place. Like a person that helps people to maneuver through that. Some people have never received, that actual help that they need. I give you a perfect example, right? Now, granted, Kanye West is a lot older. There was a guy I knew, I'm just gonna call him Quentin.
mhm,
Okay. When we were coming up, I knew him in elementary
all right,
school, middle and high school. And I didn't I guess sometime after high school, I might have seen him in passing, but I didn't really see him too much because he got off in the street. But long story, he was one of those guys that always had the potential to be one of the worst people that you would come across. If he had bad intentions toward you, like you would get all of it. But his mother kept him grounded. His mom being around was like the person that kept him in line and kept him from being the worst person that he could possibly be. Now, when his mother passed, that was it. Like any and everybody was on deck, and he, as a result of that, he wound up getting murdered, uh, here in New Orleans. But because he was kind of, the moves he was making in the street, they were without any kind of sympathy or anything. Like if he wanted it, he went and got it. However, he had to get it. So his mother was the one person that kept him grounded. When he lost his mother, there was a change in him. And everybody that I spoke to that knew him, because I wound up finding out about it. I wound up going to the funeral because later on, but everybody that knew him said the same thing. So, for some people like that, management of that death, it's a tough thing. Like me personally, I've been blessed to have, still have both of my parents, where some people don't. And personally, I don't know what state I would be in if I lost either one of them because of the role that they played in my life. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go and lose my shit, but everybody doesn't manage things the same. I'm a more cerebral person. For a person who's more like emotional, which a lot of these dudes in New Orleans are, we could speak on that down here. A lot of these dudes are emotional. So, like they don't know how to manage that. There's no man that'll like really like talk to him and be like, hey man, this is gonna be a tough situation, but I'm gonna help you through this. This is, try doing some of these things and this will help you through that. Nobody's there to help him with. So but back to the Kanye thing, maybe he never received that help that he should have got. Because I see a lot of people laugh at it, but that's a mental thing, man. It's deep.
mhm. Yeah, man, I get it, but only time, only Kanye know
Yeah.
what he's dealing with, man. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Right.
only he knows that. So
Mm-hmm.
we can speculate, but
That's true.
one one thing though, yeah. Now, now on to the meat of the
Here we go.
conversation, what
Let's
I
get it.
really wanted to talk about. Now Meg Thee Stallion, yeah, Meg Thee Stallion, she got shot recently in the foot. Allegedly, her shooter was Tory Lanez. We don't know the specifics or the real facts of the case. The
Uh-huh.
only thing we got is speculation. But then she took to Instagram and she said something that
Mm-hmm.
really caught my attention. She said that the black woman is the least protected woman in
Mm-hmm.
America, right? Now, for anybody that knows me, my main thing is protecting the black
Mm-hmm.
woman, right? I love black women. I love them. I really do. Now, what I'm about to go ahead and say may or
Mm-hmm.
may not make some people feel some type of way, but it's the truth. Black women, when you date degenerates, when you date so-called gangsters, this is the type of energy that you're bringing around you. Don't go around and say the black woman is the least protected woman in America when you intentionally put yourself in dangerous positions and say that where are the black men to protect us? We're right here for you. But the type of black men that you choose can impact your life dearly in a negative way, in a as a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
in a fatal way. Give me your thoughts,
Um,
brother.
I have to say, I definitely agree with what you said. I think the choice of men that are, that black women, I don't want to say, I guess, I think some of their choices definitely could be a lot better. And I think that leads to maybe why they deal with some, not, well, for the most part, why they deal with some of the things that they deal with. But at the same time, as a man, like, there comes a time where you have to kind of accept responsibility for like who you are and what it is that you've done. So you can be this street individual, you hustle, you rob, whatever your thing is that's illegal, whatever it is you do, street, on a street level, whatever it is you do, that's the street. But at the same time, your woman is your woman. Like that should be a different
Right?
situation because for the most part these women get to see
Exactly.
a different side of this man than what the street sees. So on one hand, you know, he has these characteristics, that are, aggressive or whatever, which, the woman might find to be attractive. But at the same time, maybe when they're home, it's a little different. Maybe he, give them money, bring a place, they go and do things. They might go on these trips, maybe somewhere out of the country or maybe just, some other states, wherever it is they go. So she may get pampered on one end, but then, when stuff gets really heavy or he gets pissed off and he goes and he, brings some of that street to the house. Now, if it's a situation where, you're a felon, done some time, you got trouble getting a job. So people go out there and they hustle. It happens all the time. But when you can't differentiate between what you do in the street and what happens at home with your woman, that's a problem for you as that man. So that's why, I can agree with what you said, but also too, black men need to have an accountability for the shit that they do. Because a lot of times people look for a yes man, to kind of make them feel better about the stuff that they do. But they like you
Hmm.
said earlier, men have their own mind, So I mean, they make those decisions to do things right or to do it in the wrong way. So.
Right. But one of my things is this though. Don't go around going around saying, don't put yourself in that type of situation, then go around and say, hey, where are the black men to protect me? Like, what? I mean, your dating choices. And I think for the most part, that for the most part, women, they always back each other up when they do stupid shit. You ever notice that? Like, there's no real accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Like if a let's just say like the Jada Pinkett situation we was talking about last week,
Mm-hmm.
right? What Jada Pinkett did was real stupid
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that, okay, you're choosing to mess with, what I'm saying, an immature guy from his
Mm-hmm.
actions, a guy that doesn't have as much going on as your husband has going on. Your husband puts you in a $10 million house.
Mm-hmm.
He probably can't even put you in a $10,000 house. And and you go around and you sleep with him and you embarrass your husband, basically emasculate him in public. And you got women going, Yeah, that's right, girl. You go ahead, do that. Jada got her some young dick and all the rest of this stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
all the rest of this foolishness, without really having any type of accountability and going and thinking, saying, "Hey, you know what? That was stupid what Jada did,"
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and that happens a lot. And I think there has to be some accountability for Black women, and some people mistake you holding Black women accountable because they have not been under as much judgment as the Black man has been
Mm-hmm.
throughout their years in the United States. They haven't been under much judgment as the Black man,
Mm-hmm.
or been blamed for everything in the community as the Black man has.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you start talking about accountability for Black women, they start thinking you're talking about hating.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, listen, I'm not that guy because if you listen to my past podcasts and everything else, I've even come up with strategic ways to protect a Black woman. But go ahead, give me your thoughts, brother.
Um. So I guess in being on social media and kind of paying attention to like seeing the perspective from different people that post about it and seeing I like to read the posts
Mm-hmm.
like the comments rather under a post and I
Right,
see both sides of it, to be honest.
right.
I do see that demographic of people who have the comment about yeah she got us some young D or whatever, but I also
Mm-hmm.
see that other side where like people mention the embarrassment, the people that post the memes of Will Smith with the tears in his eyes, like this man is really hurt, like that was unnecessary. Like I've seen there are, women out there, a lot of women who give, that accountability, who want to, who hold Jada accountable for what, the way that was conducted. So I think there's two sides of it, but I think
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lack of morals now, I think
Mm.
that's what leads to those type of perspectives and like, uh, where you have so many of those people who look at Jaden like, yeah, go ahead and do your thing because he probably doing him, and you know, so that to me comes from a lack of morals. Now to kind of jump back on the Meg Thee Stallion
Yeah.
comment that you made, I had to think about that because
Mm-hmm.
I know you had kind of talked to me about it, and you were telling me like this is what I wanted to focus on today. And one of the
Right.
things I thought about that validated the comment that you made, and it's I have, like I said, I have to agree with it. When I listen to her music, I hear a lot of, I'm a real ass, trill ass bitch, and basically like I don't give a fuck, and
Right.
like I'm gonna do me, and you know, get on your knees, and you go ahead. Basically she's taking the role of a man in this situation, like in her music. So like to me, when you put off an image like that, and you big up yourself like that, then you know what does that actually say?
Mm.
Like what does that actually say to people? Because here it is, you basically reverse the roles. You basically like pimping these guys that you feel like are simps.
Right.
So but I mean, but in no way is that meant to like excuse the way that this situation happened. Because she's a human
Okay.
being too. But I
Okay.
think people don't really understand that like rappers or whatever, they're entertainers. They're
Yeah.
selling an image, but that image is sold that well because that's how you wind up with all these people with all these different comments like they have, towards her. But she doesn't deserve to have stuff like that happen. We don't even know what happened in that vehicle. You
Correct.
know, we have no idea what happened. All people can do is speculate because she won't even say anything. She's even holding to the street code and not saying anything about what happened. This motherfucker shot you. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly.
There you
So
go.
yeah, allegedly. Yeah, I gotta use your word. So if that actually happened, why would you protect the person that brought that kind of harm to you with your silence?
Hmm.
You protect the person that try to damage you, try to damage your frame with your silence. So, but like I said, just to kind of go back, I don't think she deserved that, or any black woman deserves that kind of stuff at all. But you also have to be careful what type of image you're building for yourself, because you're building this, boss bitch image, but then you have a situation like this to come out, and then you go make a comment like that. on Instagram or Twitter. It's like, well, damn, like from the person that you portray yourself to be, like you basically portray yourself like you a goon and you got, like you have, like you shouldn't have to worry about stuff like that happening to you. That's the image that you put off, and people buy that. So when you post like this afterwards, it's kind of confusing. Like, well, damn, we didn't think you had to deal with stuff like this. Like the way you rap, like we think you gonna knock somebody off if they try to play with you like that.
Yeah.
It's it's misleading. So you got to be careful what you put out there. Because now here's a situation. It's almost like she was called out on.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's my thing. Like you got women going around here saying, and I want to really focus on her statement and what she said, and I really want women to understand something. All these, like you said, entertainment. All these women talking about they're entertainers and they're independent. I tell women this all the time, especially our women, because our women are the one to say this type of shit. They say, I'm independent. I don't need no man. Okay, you do need a man. You need a man for protection. You need a man for guidance. First thing come out to me, I don't need no man to guide me. I ain't no kid. Okay, all right. That right there shows me your immaturity. Because of the fact you haven't shown the capacity to listen in context to what I'm saying. Then I'm gonna stop talking to you right there. Because once you show me that you think that you know everything, then I'm just gonna stop talking to you right there. And then they want to wonder why they're single. But back to what I'm about to go to say. When a woman says she's independent, you don't need no man. Once you get married, once you're in a relationship with a man, guess what? You're no longer independent. Because you have somebody that you depend on right there.
Okay.
It's a contradiction of terms. Like Beyonce, I'm independent, blah, blah, blah. She's married to Jay-Z. If you see him out in public, she's submissive to Jay-Z. And for some reason, our women don't seem to understand that for some reason. And they don't get that for some reason. Meg Thee Stallion. Once again, I'm independent, blah, 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 boss bitch, all that. When it comes down, but when you got shot, first thing out your mouth, we the less protected women in America.
Yeah. Now see, that's pretty much where I was at with it. That's where I was at, exactly that part that you just said right there. But as far as leading, you got to look at like who's supposed to be the leaders out here. Because the end of the black males that consider themselves to be leaders, like they're not really worthy of leading. Like they just, they just aggressive. They probably got some hands. They probably have a mentality where they're not gonna, not gonna take too much bullshit from people. So, if they got to shoot you, they shoot you. They got to stab you, put hands on you. To them, that's leading. So that's not really like, because I mean, it's hard to put yourself in a woman's shoes, but if you put yourself in a woman's shoes, like how many guys out here like look like they really worthy of leading? Like it's like because a lot of these dudes they front. Because like who you see on Instagram, the way they floss and this and that, anybody can get got, man. Nobody's invincible out here. But a lot of people put on like these fronts and things like that. But let me slide off into something else right quick. Meg Thee Stallion made the comment about black women being the least protected women. Was it in the world or well, how was it put?
Yeah, in America.
Oh, in America, that is. My apologies. So they're the least protected women in America. Now, she's not necessarily wrong. As much as we like to agree with that and take it personal, or as much as we like to disagree with that and take it personal, she's not lying. But I think the context that she brought it up in after she's built this image up of herself, and then for her to bring it up is kind of like, you're kind of contradicting yourself. But at the same time, as it pertains to just black women in general, I think it's true because I've seen situations. I mean, we see videos all day on Instagram, where you have women fighting, and like there was a video I saw recently. If two women were fighting, and one of them grabbed the other one, but she was on her knees. She grabbed the woman by her hair, literally swung her around about 3 times by her hair. She was off the ground, swung her by her hair. Like she had her 2 hands by her hair, spent around a circle, like ring around the rosy, and then tossed the end of the car. There was another video. There was a heavy-set black woman. 2 women out there trying to fight her. One came at her. She got whipped, and then the other one came right behind her. Bam, she whipped her too, grabbed her by the hair, slung all over the place. And I guarantee you a guy was either recording or you could see a guy in the background when they pan the camera around. These niggas sit around there and watch it happen. When fights pop off, matter of fact, there was another video. This guy was in the store with his woman. His woman, they had another woman on top of his lady, beating her, whipping the brakes off of her in the store. He's standing right there on the side, like refused to get involved. So, like, you know, when we've gotten to the point, not like you or I, but when black men have gotten to the point where stuff like that happens, and it's, oh, damn, let me get this footage. Like, that's the first thing that come to your mind. Not, nah, man, they shouldn't be doing this shit. Let me go ahead, you know, hey, man, y'all chill out. You know, there is none of that no more. People mind their business. I've seen situations where 2 women were fighting, and a dude would go to walk up and break it up, and another dude, but nah, but don't get in there. Let them do what they do. Let them do what they do. Like, damn, that's what we at with.
Yeah, but
that's what we at, and that's not protecting these women, man. That's not protecting these women.
Yeah, but like you said, let's not throw us into that conversation because you know, it, like if we out with our ladies and somebody trying to fight them or something like that. First off, no, it ain't gonna go down like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be the first one to tell you. Listen, but like, listen, I don't know what y'all got between y'all, but it ain't going down like that while I'm out here. So you know, go about your business. You dig?
Yeah.
And you know, and even if in whatever capacity, even if my woman was trying to initiate some stuff, hey, this ain't the time or the place for that. Respect yourself and respect me too. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? We ain't doing that right there.
Right.
Now, if somebody run up and put their hands on my woman, then we got a different conversation.
Yeah, that's different. I mean,
as a matter of fact, we don't have no conversation.
Yeah, it's just people have the right to protect themselves. I get that, you know. But yeah, it's just a lot of these situations, brother. I mean, there's fights that happen on a regular, bro, on a regular, and it's just like really overall, people have gotten in a fight. They don't break it up unless somebody's on the verge of being unconscious, or it's the point where they done been kicked in the face a few times. It's like, all right, now you're on the verge of attempted murder. Now I got to break this up. Plus, it's on camera. So somebody gonna get a charge behind this if this gets out. It's like things have to get to an extreme manner before that happens. And now, truth be told, there's been situations I've seen where guys went to go break up stuff, and they wound up getting into a fight with some other people who were out there because they didn't want him to break it up. He got jumped on by some other people, and he was just trying to break it up. You know, I remember when I was this was probably like. This was in high school, actually, probably like my senior year, maybe. I was at this party at the Autocrat, and we come outside, they shut the thing down, and there was a whole lot of people outside, they wait for their rides or whatever, standing around running their mouth. And I saw this one girl, she's like standing around the side of the steps, and she kind of got this nervous look in her face. And next thing I know, all these girls just start wailing on her. Must have been like 5 of them. Wham, 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 wham. So they wearing out, man. I reached over the side of the rail and picked up under her arm, up over the railing. All her shirt was tore off, man. Bro was like, you know what I'm saying? And I just had on like a white tee or whatever it is. And that was like, we was doing like double white tees or whatever. So I took my shirt off, whatever it is, gave it to a security that come over there, whatever, and dispersed all of that. And the chicks was trying to come understand, nah, you need to let me get at that. And I'm like, nah, man, that shit over with. Y'all go ahead, man. That was like 5 or 6 of y'all. Y'all doing too much. And she was standing behind me or whatever it is, and that was the end of it. And every time I see that girl after that, you know what I'm saying, it was she always showed me love and how you been, what's up. Matter of fact, like I saw her as an adult, you know what I'm saying? I was out one night, bought me a couple of drinks, you know what I'm saying? Like but that's what I'm saying. Like in that particular situation, like she was about to get work. You know what I'm saying? But like and that was as a young man, like sitting there watching that, I was like, that shit ain't cool, bro. I don't know what she did. But like getting to know her as an adult, like nothing really showed me like why them girls would have did that to her. Because what she told me later on was one of the girls was dealing with some guy. The guy liked her or whatever. He was trying to distance himself from one of those females, and she had her girls, but and it was like, look, there she go right there, you know. But it's like to sit there and watch that kind of stuff, man. That bothers me, but to a lot of people, it doesn't bother, you know.
Yeah. So, what do you think are some ways that we could go about, improving our situation as far as like protecting our women on a larger scale?
Uh, I guess off the bat, like having some type of principles that you live by, you know, because lot of, you know, there are a lot of people who don't really have principles. Like they just out here living day by day, you know, on that YOLO shit. Like, you know, every day is any day could be your last day, you know. So they just living it the wild way. They don't really live by any principles that kind of like guide their movements, you know. Because I think you kind of lead by example. You know, if you're a certain type of man, like, you know, if a woman, you know, is looking for strength in a man, like if she sees the fact that you're willing to put your foot down on certain things, you know, you really don't take shit. But at the same time, like you pulling your weight, you know, anybody will respect that. Another man will respect that. So I think leading by example and just like living by some type of like principles, man. I'm not saying be perfect, but you know, because nobody's perfect, but shit, you know, be living by some type of, you know, some type of guidelines that you know keep you as a individual in check. Because if you can't check yourself, who are you to check anybody else? So I think
Yeah,
that's definitely one direction. Live by some principles. You live
indeed.
by a set of principles, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
That I refuse to
right.
break for
Indeed.
anybody.
Yeah, indeed. You live by a set of principles, keep you grounded as a man. You know, keep you out of
Yeah,
foolishness. You know, keep your body right. You know what I'm saying? You're a healthy dude. You know what I'm saying? You fit. You know, live by a set of principles, man. Like you care about yourself, and people can tell that when people speak to you or when people see you, they can tell that. You know, like matter of fact, when we all saw each other, when we met up for one of the podcasts, man, you were dressed better than you know, all of us sitting down there, man. So you know the way people carry themselves, you know, people see that exudes a certain type of strength. You know, because to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you walking down the street, you could be as swole as you want to be, but if you got you got your pants under your ass, and I can see, you know, if I can see the shape of your
yeah,
ass, it's like, oh, how am I supposed to respect that? I see your ass,
yeah,
dog. Like you, like you
yeah.
know, you on some whole shit to me. That's just me, you know. I don't care how swole you are. I
Right.
don't care if you got tats in your face or whatever. Like your ass out, bro. Like I can't. What you want me to be scared of you? Come on, man. Nobody respect that, man. I don't respect that. So yeah,
Right,
lead
right.
by example, but live by some principles. You know?
Yeah, yeah, man. I totally agree with you, brother. Speaking of which, we gotta get out of here. Got some things I gotta take care of. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. What you got? As a matter of fact, I want to put this out there too. Before we leave, we're gonna be this. Give me a couple of weeks, and we're gonna be doing some other things. We're gonna be going out to other black businesses as well, and doing podcasts over there too,
Okay.
and just going out and just doing like a little bit I guess like team building, because we rarely get to really see each other like that.
Hmm.
So some team building, especially with this COVID-19 going on.
Right.
So we need to go do some more team building too.
Oh yeah.
But before we get out of here, before we do get out of here, tell the people what you got going on, anything that you're working on, anything you
Um.
want them to know about, anything.
Well, I'd like to put a couple of black businesses out there. If you go on Instagram, a friend of mine, we came up together. His name is Devin. He has a brand called You Dig. So it's
Hmm.
YADIG. On Instagram is Your Dig. Um, fire line of clothing is real. Got that nostalgic New Orleans vibe. It mentions like the different areas. Like if you're from different areas of the city, it has the streets from the area that you live in, that you may possibly live in, and the wards you're from, on the shirt. He also has a lot of New Orleans terms that we use, like out here, and it gives a definition of what out here is. It's a nice brand, but go ahead and check that out. Also, my cousin has a brand. It's called Blends, BLENDS, DZ. If you look her up on Instagram, she does juices. She's getting her business off the ground, man, but the juice is off the chain. She also does wellness shots. She's a registered nurse, so she's like heavy into the fitness games. She works out. But she has blended drinks that she does, like with carrots, spinach, all those different things, like to help to boost your immunity and keep yourself right. So give her a shot. That's Blends, BLENDZ. And then my boy Devin has a brand called You Dig, YADIG. Both of them on Instagram. Black owned business support.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, for me, I want to thank you guys for joining me. And as always, go ahead and stream New Orleans politics. People liking it, people loving it. I'm loving the feedback I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the white people in New Orleans mad though. White people in New Orleans mad about that film.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I'm sure some people take it personal. I'm sure some people take it personal.
Yeah. But besides that fact though, I'm very proud of it, and I'm still expecting some good news. We got some good things on the way, and just thank you guys for joining. We just gave y'all the game, man. I want y'all to have a good night.
Yes, sir. Out.